All right, tennis fans, wherever you're watching from, whatever screen you've got in front of you right now, lock in. Because what's about to happen at Indian Wells is not just a tennis match. It's a moment. We are live in the Coachella Valley, out here in the California desert for the BNP Paribas Open. A tournament so prestigious, so consistently electric, that the tennis world doesn't just call it a Masters event. They call it the 5th Grand Slam. And today, the story that everyone is talking about has one name at the center of it. Alexandra Eala, 20 years old, Filipino, fearless, and right now, the most exciting player on the entire WTA Tour. She's stepping onto Stadium 1 to face Linda Nosková, world number 14, Czech Republic, and the buzz surrounding this match is deafening. Every sports network, every tennis podcast, every fan forum is running the same headline: Alex wins 2x. And by the time we're done here, you're going to understand exactly why those 3 words matter so much. But first, let's rewind. Just days ago, Eala walked onto that same Stadium 1 court and put on a clinic against Coco Gauff, world number 4, American star, one of the most dangerous players on tour. And before Gauff had to retire in the second set due to a left arm injury, Eala was not just competing with her, she was taking her apart, 6-2, 2-0. Eala was leading. She was dictating every rally from the baseline, punishing anything short and using her heavy left-handed topspin to drag Gauff into positions she simply didn't want to be in. She was exploiting angles, breaking serve with what I can only describe as surgical precision. Seasoned analysts were genuinely speechless. This wasn't survival tennis, this was a statement. Alexandra Eala didn't just arrive on the WTA Tour, she announced herself, loudly. And the thing that makes this moment so much bigger than a single match, it's what Eala represents. She is a one-woman revolution for tennis in Southeast Asia. Every time she steps on court, whether it's Dubai, Melbourne, Hong Kong, or right here in the desert, she doesn't just bring her racket. She brings millions, a legion of supporters who have been waiting for someone like her, a fan base that is passionate, loud, and growing by the day. You can feel it in the stadium. The Filipino diaspora in Southern California is massive, and today, over 16,000 people are expected to pack that arena, and a significant chunk of them are here for her. The WTA took notice a long time ago. They literally created the Philippine Women's Open 125 event because of the seismic regional pull this young woman has generated. That's not hype, that's impact. And now she stands here, on the edge of her second WTA 1000 quarterfinal this year alone, carrying the weight and the hope of an entire nation on her shoulders. But let's talk about the woman on the other side of the net, because Linda Nosková is not here to be a stepping stone for anyone's story. 21 years old, Czech, explosive, and born into a tennis culture that has been producing champions for decades. You want a lineage? The Czech Republic has it. And Noskova is the newest, brightest name in that tradition. She sits at a career-high ranking of world number 14, and she's trending upward. We saw her last year at the 2024 Australian Open dismantle Iga Swiatek, the world number 1, in a run that announced her to the world in the clearest possible terms. Her serve is a genuine weapon. Her backhand is flat, disguised, and dangerous. She plays aggressive first-strike tennis, standing on or inside the baseline, taking the ball early, forcing errors rather than waiting for them. And just yesterday, she ground out a tough 3-set win over veteran Serena Cersei, showing she's got the mental engine to match her physical firepower. Noskova is not here to participate. She's here to win. So now, Alex wins 2x. Let's get into it. Tennis is psychological warfare, full stop. The scoreboard matters, yes, but what's inside both players' heads when they walk out on that court? That matters just as much, if not more. Eala and Noskova are not strangers. This rivalry didn't start in the California desert. It started when they were kids, grinding through junior circuits, chasing dreams bigger than they could fully articulate. At the time, their first meeting, Les Petits As, France, 2018. Eala was 12 years old, 12, and she beat Noskova in a 3-set final, a match that, at that age, is about as pressure-packed as it gets. Their second, 2020 French Open Girls quarterfinals. Roland Garros red clay. Eala came back from a set down to win dominant, composed, clinical, 2 matches, 2 wins, against the same opponent on 2 of the biggest junior stages in the world. For Eala, those results live in her bones. They're not just memories. They're evidence. Evidence that she has the specific tools, the specific game, to handle what Noskova brings. That's a quiet confidence you simply cannot manufacture. For Noskova, it's an open wound, a rivalry that needs rewriting. She has been waiting for this moment to prove on a professional stage that the story has a different ending now. That is why the tennis world is tuned in. We're not just watching a 4th-round match. We're watching the next chapter of something that started when these two were barely teenagers. Let's break down the chess match inside the tennis match, because this is where it gets really interesting. Eala is a left-hander, which immediately creates a geometric headache for any right-handed opponent. Her cross-court forehand, loaded with heavy topspin, naturally targets Noskova's 2-handed backhand, dragging her wide, disrupting her timing. But Eala isn't just a retriever or a defensive grinder. She was trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy, and she came out of that program with a transition game. She knows when to absorb pace, when to flatten out, when to step inside the baseline and take time away. We watched her execute this perfectly against Goff. She didn't let Goff breathe. She redirected pace, went down the line at exactly the right moments, and kept the world number 4 completely off balance. Her movement is elite level, the kind of court coverage that makes opponents feel like the lines keep getting further away. And her conditioning? Her first-round match against Diana Yastremska went 2 hours and 43 minutes. She won in the 3rd set, facing a dangerous tiebreak at 6-5. She broke serve, clutch, pure composure. Noskova's game, by contrast, is built on speed and aggression. She wants the point short. Her serve generates serious leverage from her height. We're talking speeds that can overwhelm opponents before the rally even begins. Her backhand is her signature, flat, penetrating, and almost impossible to read. When she's on, she makes the court look tiny for whoever's on the other side. But here's the vulnerability. That high-risk, high-reward style demands perfect timing. If Eala can vary her depths, mix in heavy topspin with defensive slices, and force Noskova out of her optimal strike zone, the unforced error count starts climbing. And once that happens, momentum shifts fast. Now, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the thing that every analyst has been circling for weeks, the Czech curse. Eala holds a perfect 2-0 junior record against Noskova. But in professional competition against Czech players, she is 0 for 11, 11 matches, 11 losses. Against players like Teresa Valentova, Barbara Krejcikova, Markéta Vondrousova, some of the most technically polished, emotionally composed players on tour. And a pattern has emerged. Eala wins a set, looks brilliant, generates real momentum. Then the Czech player adapts, tightens their game, and grinds her down. Krejcikova at Wimbledon. Eala wins the first set on center court, then loses in 3. Vondrousova at the Canadian Open in 2025. Same story. First set to Eala. Tactical adjustments from the Czech. Match to the Czech. That is not coincidence. Czech tennis produces players who are technically flawless, mentally stoic, and tactically relentless. To beat a top-tier Czech professional, you cannot play well for a set. You have to sustain a high level from the first point to the final handshake. Breaking this streak, doing it against a world number 14 on Stadium 1 at Indian Wells, would be the single biggest psychological breakthrough of Eala's professional career. It wouldn't just be a win. It would be a statement about the kind of player she is becoming. One more factor, the physical state of both players coming in. Eala's draw has been a study in contrasts. She gutted out that nearly 3-hour marathon against Yastremska, which would have drained anyone's legs. But her match against Goff ended early, well into recovery before the second set was finished. She comes into today fresh. Her body has had time to reset. Noskova's road has been harder. Her three-set battle against Cersei yesterday, dropping the opening tiebreak before winning the next two sets, took a real toll, emotionally, physically. If this match goes past the 2-hour mark, Eala's superior freshness and elite conditioning could quietly become the deciding factor. Here's what it all comes down to. On one side of the net, a powerful, technically masterful European player seeking to impose her physical dominance and reclaim the narrative of this rivalry. On the other, a dynamic, tactically brilliant 20-year-old from the Philippines carrying the hopes of millions and chasing a breakthrough that would define the arc of her entire career. A win for Eala doesn't just move her into the quarterfinals, it shatters the Czech curse. It validates the Alex wins 2x story as more than a junior footnote. It makes it a stylistic truth. It rockets her deeper into the world's top 30, secures seedings at upcoming Grand Slams, and ignites the tennis boom in the Philippines to an entire.